It may be one of those mornings where you wake up already negotiating with the day before your feet even touch the floor. You check your phone too early, hoping for a message, dreading a message, or feeling that strange hollow ache when there is nothing there at all. Your jaw is tight. Your shoulders are creeping toward your ears. You are already making a list in your head of what everyone needs from you, what still is not handled at home, what your body has been trying to tell you, and what part of you is quietly asking, how much longer can I hold all of this together like this? If that landed in your chest, take a breath with me right now. Unclench your tongue from the roof of your mouth. Drop your shoulders. Because Cancer, this is not you being dramatic. This is your nervous system responding to a very real astrological tension. In the western sky, the moon moves through Sagittarius in your 6th house of work, health, habits, and daily systems, which means your emotional body is trying to reorganize the practical structure of your life. But later, that same moon opposes Uranus in your 12th house of rest, hidden stress, and the feelings you keep buried so deeply that even you sometimes call them just being tired. And in Vedic terms, the moon's Scorpio tone adds another layer: emotional intensity, private pressure, the clash between what you want and what you believe you must do. So if today already feels like too much before it has even fully begun, stay with me, because there is a reason the routine feels fragile, there is a reason the silence feels louder than usual, and there is one shift available to you today that could change the entire emotional texture of how you move through it. What is happening is bigger than a mood. It is architecture. The sky is not just describing your circumstances. It is describing the pressure point between your inner world and the systems that keep your life functioning. The Sagittarius moon in your 6th house does not want you to perform your routine mindlessly. It wants to expose where your schedule no longer fits your actual energy, where your body is carrying hidden resentment, where your habits look functional on paper but quietly drain the life out of you. This is the part of the day where you may suddenly notice that the plan you made is not the plan your nervous system can sustain. A meeting feels heavier than it should. A simple errand feels oddly personal. A chore becomes the final straw. Then comes the Uranus opposition from the 12th house, and this is where the hidden material rises. Exhaustion you tried to out-discipline. Grief you tucked under productivity. A private realization about how much you've been adapting, appeasing, or overfunctioning just to keep the peace. Uranus does not always create chaos out of nowhere. Often it reveals the chaos that was already there, hidden under routine. And yet, beneath all of that, there is a far more generous transit holding you. Jupiter in Leo is embedded in your sector of personal income, valuables, security, and what you are building for the future until 2027. That is not small. That is long-range expansion around money, resources, worth, property, and the kind of life you can actually stand inside without shrinking. This means the current discomfort is not random. It may be part of a larger recalibration. Your instincts around security are changing. Your standards are changing. Your definition of enough is changing. Cancer is one of the signs that can feel a room, a neighborhood, a deal, a home, a person, almost in the body before the mind catches up. Your property sensing ability. Your ability to read emotional safety and material potential is one of your gifts, and Jupiter is asking you to trust that gift more boldly now. The current transits suggest that while today may feel emotionally jagged, you are actually being led away from an intense recent past and toward a larger financial future with more options, more space, and a different kind of confidence. The uncertainty you've been living with lately is real, but it is not the whole story. It may simply be the bridge between one chapter of survival and another chapter of expansion. This is why love and ambition feel strangely tangled today. You may notice that romance is not separate from your energy management right now. Connection may depend less on chemistry and more on whether you feel supported, rested, and emotionally safe enough to stay present. A disrupted routine could affect the romantic mood more than expected. If someone asks for your time when you're already depleted, even affection can feel like another task. You might be tempted to cancel abruptly, withdraw, or go silent because explaining yourself feels heavier than disappearing for a few hours. But the energy today leans toward a different lesson. Context is intimacy. A shorter date. A simpler plan. Dividing the errand instead of doing it all yourself. Moving the check-in instead of vanishing. That is not failure. That is emotional honesty. And this same pattern may be showing up in your work life too. You might find yourself overfunctioning for other people today, anticipating needs before they speak, absorbing disorganization that is not yours, trying to keep the entire emotional weather system stable so nobody gets uncomfortable. But here is the reframe, and I need you to let this really land in your body. What feels like pressure to prove yourself may actually be a signal to protect yourself. What feels like rejection may actually be protection. What feels like a delay may be the sky refusing to let you build your future out of depleted instincts. The moon opposing Uranus in the 12th is not punishing you with disruption. It is exposing the hidden cost of pretending you have more bandwidth than you do. Saturnian lessons often arrive as delay, but their deeper wisdom is structure. Uranian lessons often arrive as interruption, but their deeper wisdom is liberation. So if someone is slower to respond, if a plan shifts, if a family matter becomes emotionally loud, if an old connection resurfaces just when you thought you were moving on, the question is not, why is this happening to me? The better question is, what unsustainable pattern is this moment revealing? Because yes, family matters may feel stressful today. Old roles can tighten around you fast. You may feel pulled into worry, obligation, or the familiar temptation to carry more than your fair share because you know how to hold a home together emotionally. But the stars are asking you not to confuse care with self-erasure. If the past reaches out, or if an old romantic thread resurfaces, do not let nostalgia make the decision for you. Weigh the pros and cons carefully. That is not coldness. That is maturity. The Vedic moon in Scorpio reminds you that the consequences of impulsive emotional decisions are yours to bear later. So before you answer, before you volunteer, before you commit, pause. Put your hand on your heart and ask, is this an act of love, or is this an act of fear? That one question could save you from repeating a costly pattern. And the money story matters here too. Opportunities may be starting to look brighter. There may be more choices, new angles, a sense that the future is opening where it once felt sealed shut. But Jupiter's abundance is best used by a Cancer who respects timing. Expansion does not mean recklessness. It means seeing farther. Save what can be saved. Notice what feels solid. Trust the opportunities that make your body exhale, not the ones that only stimulate urgency. There is a bigger leap coming in the longer arc, especially as this Jupiter cycle matures toward early 2027, and one well-timed decision could create a domino effect of changes not only for you but for everyone connected to your home, finances, or family structure. So today is not about proving anything dramatic. Today is about stabilizing yourself enough to recognize the doorway when it appears. Your body is part of the message now, so listen to it. Be mindful of your health, especially the throat, the swallowed words, the things you keep trying not to say because you don't want to start something. Notice if your neck is tight, if your sleep debt is talking, if your system is asking for less stimulation. Cut back where numbing has become a habit, especially if alcohol has been part of how you soften the edges at night. The relief it promises may not be the relief your body actually needs. What your body may need is something much older, gentler, and more Cancerian. Ritual. A morning journal. A few minutes of meditation before the world enters you. A long walk that lets your thoughts settle into their real shape. Brewing your favorite tea before bed. Wearing the necklace that reminds you of your grandmother. Touching sentimental objects that tell your nervous system, I belong to something deeper than today's chaos. Make an altar if you need to. Family photos, meaningful objects. Evidence of continuity. The outside world may remain uncertain, but your rituals can teach your body that uncertainty does not have to mean unmoored. And here is the answer to the open loop from the beginning. The thing that has been trying to happen beneath the schedule changes, the private stress, the weird emotional static around connection. There is a conversation trying to happen, but it may not be with another person first. It may be with yourself. The conversation is about capacity, about honesty, about the difference between what you can technically survive and what you are actually meant to keep carrying. The shift today is small but profound. Instead of forcing the day to obey the old version of you, let the day reveal the newer truth. Build in breathing room. Handle one useful task. Protect your energy before the day starts running you. Avoid unnecessary travel if you can. Choose the practical kindness that lowers your future stress. And if you do need to speak to someone important, let it be simpler than your fear is making it. You do not need a perfect explanation. You only need a true one. Deep blue is a healing color for you today for a reason. It cools the emotional heat. It steadies the inner waters. Wear it, hold it. Imagine it around your throat and chest if you need to. And if you can, give yourself a window between 3 and 6 in the afternoon to handle what matters most with a little more mindfulness. Not because the stars demand performance, but because they are offering you a current that is easier to move with if you choose it consciously. So if you started this reading feeling like you were already behind, already too heavy, already one message or one family demand away from shutting down, hear me clearly. Nothing is wrong with you. You are sensing the strain between a life that needs updating and a soul that is ready for more space, more honesty, more support, and eventually, much more abundance. The sky is not asking you to toughen up today. It is asking you to tell the truth sooner. To soften the routine where it has become punishing. To stop confusing disappearance with rest. To stop confusing overgiving with love. And to trust that the same intuition that has carried you through uncertainty is also guiding you toward the larger future that is opening. If this reached the part of you that has been quietly holding everything together, type "I protect my energy" in the comments. Not for me, for your own nervous system, for your own declaration. Let it be the sentence that replaces the old reflex to push through. And if this reading gave language to something you've been feeling but couldn't explain, leave a like as your signal to the universe that you are ready to move differently now. Not harder, not faster, more honestly, more gently, more powerfully. Cancer, the day does not need your perfection. It needs your presence. And that may be the very thing that opens the next door.